It's 11:38. Donovan was born 3 hours ago, exactly
Right.
8:39. I guess Jackie's water broke at 8:38, and Donovan was born at 8:39. So he was almost born in the amniotic sac.
He was real close.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Yeah.
One more minute. So.
Yeah. So the story is
the rivalry's on between you and your sister.
No such rivalry.
No such.
We got to the hospital. I really didn't have any contractions.
At 10. Our check-in was at 10.
We were a little late, but yeah, shockingly, they let us back after waiting in that waiting room, probably closer to 11.
Yeah, we got to the actual room number 5.
Yep, and really didn't have any contractions going. I sat on the birth ball. Nothing was really happening. Finished my makeup and hair, important things. And then
brought our breakfast from the Marriott.
Yep, and started talking with the midwife about options. She checked me, and I was 5 or 6 centimeters, 80% dilated still, or whatever the zero position, like ready to go. And so she swapped the membranes, which maybe gave me a couple good cramps, but didn't really do much. And then we decided we're going to do Pitocin rather than breaking the water bag.
Yeah,
so
I think that was a really smart decision. It all turned out, yeah.
So thank God we made the right call there.
Yeah, that we cannot overstate how nervous and how much we agonized
especially
over
when
that decision.
I hadn't even known until the nurse told us here that some babies don't take Pitocin well. They kind of freak out, and you have to get them to get back off of it. And so they turned it on, and it slowly.
Probably at like 1.
Yeah, probably. It was
Probably at
afternoon.
1.
Mm-hmm. And so it slowly ramped me up. It was fine. I didn't even wasn't even uncomfortable for a while. Felt just like my normal natural contractions. He was perfectly happy with his heartbeat and everything.
I got a few of those videos, but I probably didn't start filming till 4.
Oh, that's fine. It was pretty boring. I just sat there on the ball. And then they turned it up because it kind of kept chilling out and not being strong enough. I wasn't really moving forward. And so they turned it up to 4. And that's when, after a little while, maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, it started ramping up. So I got my headphones out and started just breathing through all the contractions and chatting in between them. And then finally, I mean, it really...
We did a nurse switch at 6.
7, I think.
7.
Was it earlier?
Yeah, it was 7 to Nikki, to Nurse Nikki.
Nurse Nikki and then, Midwife Tina.
Midwife Tina.
From Kimla and Yvonne. And they were lovely. So by 5 or so, I was starting to be mostly in contractions, or somewhere around 5, 6.
Yeah.
I was just not.
Yeah, because that was like when my dad. Yeah, like you wanted me there the whole time. My dad got here, and I was going to go meet him and walk into his hotel.
So it was after. It was 6 and beyond.
Yeah.
That I started wanting you right by my side.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, it's getting real.
And at that point, the contractions turned into transition contractions pretty shortly after. Like by the time that I was starting to make noises, that was basically transition, and I was shivering, and I could feel much more pressure where he wanted to come out. And
where's that?
Right, exactly. And then it was however long after that.
Well, he was born at 8:39, so
probably 8:30. I went to go to the bathroom, maybe.
Maybe it took a while. Probably, but you had some pretty good contractions and screams before that, so probably at 8.
Scream.
No, I mean.
I was moaning loud.
It was a.
Yeah, it was.
I may have gotten on video. I don't know, but
it wasn't like Juliet.
No, it was nothing like Juliet.
I could scream.
But that probably started
around 8.
7:45 or 8.
Okay.
You had a couple good screams, and then you were just.
Well, don't call them screams.
Okay, sorry. You had a couple really
loud
good
moans.
moans,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean you were holding me really tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were.
Yeah, they were getting real.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to go potty, and so I went into the toilet.
Well, no, because I left to go do something for.
Really?
And I came back and you were sitting up, and then I came back and you were laying in the bed, and so.
That was way earlier.
Yeah, that was.
I was sitting on the ball. And then the earlier nurse tried to get me to lay down. It hurt
so
much
you didn't
worse.
like it. Yeah,
and
Yvonne.
He shifted out of. I was like, this is.
I know, and she was like, "No, you need to lay on your side." And I was like, "Actually, no. She wants to sit up, and that's what she'll do." And that's what caused there was tension between me and the nurse because
I felt it.
Every time. Oh yeah, there was, and then the doula too wasn't really down with how the nurse was doing it.
Yeah, it was
She kept
really
wanting
dumb.
she kept wanting you to get in a different position. I was like, no, she's going to
It's
decide.
because she wanted to track the baby, and it's like, baby's doing fine, you know. And then she had to basically stay in front of me, holding it against me, but tough. I mean, I wanted to be upright. I didn't want to start to shift him to
And
the
you got
left.
off Pitocin probably if you went on.
I didn't
more.
know that. I know that she said she was
So
going to turn
she
it
went
back
off
down
shift
to 2.
at 7. All this tension started happening around 6ish.
Probably 6, yeah. 'Cause that's when I was sitting on the bed and I wanted you near me. You said.
But you got off the Pitocin around then because she was.
That's amazing. I knew they turned it down to 2. I had no idea that I was off of it.
Yeah, at probably 5:30.
Okay, and contractions were still rolling. I mean, they were powerful. It was still working. So anyway, fast forward back to 8:30ish. I wanted to go to the bathroom. Really just thought I needed to pee.
It was probably more like 8:20.
Okay, yeah, probably. And then when I got there, like, just involuntarily pushed, which I had felt the desire to push for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour.
Yeah, Doula Jen was in there.
She kind of flipped out because I guess the nurse wasn't there.
The nurse wasn't there. The doctor or the
photographer
midwife
wasn't there. Midwife wasn't there. It was just you and her.
Yeah, and she pulls out her phone and sends this long text. I'm like, dude, who are you texting? I guess she was texting.
She was texting everybody to get in there. Yeah, the photographer specifically.
Yeah.
And then I guess the nurse just heard me start to be loud.
Oh, well, she gave this wail while she was in the toilet. Yeah, it was a.
Yeah, that was me trying to push differently than I had with Juliet, because I knew if I started screaming, it was like over.
But it was a really loud woo sound.
Yeah.
And it was
I was trying to imitate sex more, quite frankly.
Sorry.
Like a positive thing. Well, anyway, and that's why I was smiling, but I still dropped the F-bomb, largely
once
because
or twice. I mean, but not.
But not much.
Not
but just
much.
because I knew that I was pushing and I wasn't supposed to be, kind of, and there was already some blood on my undies.
Tiny bit, yeah.
Which Jen said was fine.
But there was only a little bit.
Very little bit. Anyway, so I kind of accidentally pushed, and then she stuck peppermint in the toilet. Which,
to make you pee.
Yeah, worked.
Really?
Yeah, I peed immediately. It was crazy.
Peppermint oil. She put peppermint oil in the toilet water.
And like the scent or something.
Your body picked it up.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but anyway, that worked. And then I was able to get off, and basically, almost as soon as I made it back to the bed, the next contraction was my first push, right?
Yeah.
Like I climbed onto the bed on my hands and knees, and I already had my shorts off and stuff.
Yeah, because we were from the bathroom. Like, let's just leave my shorts off, and that's when I was like, oh, I'm just getting real.
And I did not expect it to be. I expected like, okay, we're entering the pushing phase. Clearly, I want to be pushing right now, but it was like almost the first, if not second, or if not first push was his head coming out, and it was just this long contraction, and I think it got out the whole head, right?
It got out. No. Kind of, well, because it was so long.
Right. It was almost like two waves within one.
And then Doula Jen is like, found the nurse, and maybe she went outside quickly to get the nurse, but she was like,
the nurse got the midwife or something.
Okay, yeah,
but she
anyway,
was telling the midwife
was like,
that's his head.
That's his head, and they were like,
I think the midwife was in there.
They were like, no, the midwife was not in there. It was the nurse
Yeah,
came
you
in.
said they all rushed in. I was
the
totally
nurse came
out of
in,
it, like eyes closed.
And Jen said, "Hey, that's his head," and so. Nurse Nikki ran out, and I guess got the midwife, and I was kind of focused on you, and then I look around, and there's like 5 people swarming, nurses swarming, putting up tables and scalpels, and then I look down, and I saw his head, and then I look up and see you, smiling in your smile pushing, and then there's all this commotion, and then just plop, he plopped out.
It was incredible. Yeah, it took a second push, and that was his body, which is always easier. And then it was like done, because my placenta took a while to come out, maybe another 20, 30 minutes almost.
Yeah, but you did the placenta when you were laying down, and they already cleaned you up, and you were
already nursing.
Nursing. It was
a
stable situation at that point. But dude, there was, I guess it's normal, a lot of blood.
I know. That's why my mom kept saying vitamin K, vitamin K, vitamin K. And she said that your second time baby does bleed more, and I bled a lot with Juliet. I don't lose excessive, but it like.
And you had a small tear that the midwife fixed up.
It hasn't hurt at all so far for her to stitch it. And I just went right into like baby talk with him and welcoming with him. I know with Juliet, I was more like, oh my gosh, it's a human. Just I think more surprised. Yeah, it's a baby. Hi, baby. And they said like I looked like I was surprised, but this guy was just right in on there. And really, I think so. Then to switch to the like hypnobirthing topic. That was so much because I had gotten myself in the mentality of being so excited for him to come out. And I started that a couple days ago when I sensed that maybe the labors were stopping because of my fear, right? Because we checked in here twice, and each time we heard women screaming their bloody heads off.
We checked in on September 10th evening, false alarm, and then we came back on that was Monday, September 10th, and then again on Wednesday,
12th.
September the 12th.
Mm-hmm. So I knew I was afraid of birth, the like final pushing crowning phases, and I know the hypnobirthing, they talk about like it's the fear that makes the pain, which is kind of hard to believe if you have a lot of pain. But anyway, the idea is if you don't let yourself have a sense of fear, then the tension in your body is looser and everything is just more open and flows more easily, like everything is less clenched, you know, so he's able to pass through. So that's what I was doing through each contraction from the beginning when they got intense. Were
you saying like something, repeating something to yourself?
No, but I was listening to these hypnobirthing recordings where she's talking about.
What do they say in those?
It's like there's ocean waves in the background with gentle music, and she's like, you know that with each surge, your baby is coming closer to you, and you surrender. You know, like that kind of just the languaging of super positivity about the whole thing. And a couple days ago, I had started looking at happy baby boy pictures. So basically, I got myself to switch from fear of crowning to excitement of baby.
Yeah.
And that's how I got through each contraction, was like just, and you're also kind of talking to him like, can't wait, come on out, I'm just so excited to meet you. So changing the language to I'm so excited for this. So then with each contraction you start to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited because now he's coming closer. And that's what they teach you to do. And it sounds ludicrous. I mean, as you listen to it without being in the process, you're like, there's no way, you know, I'm just gonna be screaming. But that's what I did. And so then it really worked to the point where it's like, I think I'm in transition because I'm shaking, but it's really not unbearable. And each time he goes lower and pushes, and at one point he dropped like 3 inches. And that's when they couldn't find his heart rate again, and that's when the nurse was being upset with us.
Oh, because
he like, suddenly was like, boom.
And he was in your canal.
Yeah, well, or somewhere, but he dropped a lot toward it. And
I cannot believe that he just went through your body.
Dude.
That is unreal.
So as things finally got to pushing, which kind of came like that, I got so excited because it was like, he's coming, you know, like this is it. I wanted to meet him so badly, and I want him here, and I want to cuddle him and all these things. And so I'd also heard about orgasmic birthing and hadn't really studied it, but knew that if you can kind of, like you can exclaim with joy or you can exclaim with pain and fear. So I tried to use the sensations and exclaim with joy, and that's why you guys saw me smiling, and you're like, what the heck is wrong with her?
Well,
and why I tried to sing
if you
more.
Smile, yeah, even when you're upset, it still releases those positive endorphins, just that your muscle movement.
Yeah, and I was kind of trying to sing. I think a lot of it probably sounded like I was singing lately. Big yawn. And then, and it came so fast. So I think that my cervix was bigger, like everything was looser down there. My whole body was not filled with the tension, because with Juliet, I was just like, everything was miserable. I just wanted to get out of it, you know, and I couldn't. And that was this incredibly intense, miserable sensation. And with this, I was just so trying to stay loose. And his whole head basically came out, and basically what was the second push. One long, huge second push. And then there was a pause, and then his body, and then it was done.
I couldn't believe it. And the nurses, no one could. It was like, oh my gosh.
I mean, as I was feeling him come out, I was like, I think that's the head. I think I'm crowning, and this is not bad. I felt the water kick, and I thought I either just popped something with a lot of blood.
Oh, so you felt your water? You felt your...
Yeah, I definitely felt the explosion, and I figured it was like, well, there goes a bunch of blood probably. I didn't know what it was. And then
Juliet, you never had that with Juliet because she was born in the sac.
She came out with it intact, and then I felt his head coming through, and I thought, holy geez, like, I'm doing this. This is the worst part, quote unquote, and it's not that bad, and it was over in one push. Anyway, miracle. So I never felt so. I mean, I felt super empowered after Juliet, but this was like,
I am
empowered and bliss. Just like I wasn't stressed, I wasn't miserable, I wasn't in shock or like, you know, emotionally traumatized. I was just so happy and so. I mean, my legs were exhausted, but felt awesome. He nursed immediately.
Yeah, he came out. You did skin to skin immediately. Like they didn't wash him or they put him. I mean, they toweled him off.
I basically picked him up as soon as he came out and held him ever from that point.
Yeah.
And then he found the boob pretty fast and didn't want to let go. Immediately, perfect latch. Come on in. There's the story.
So there it is.
Hi there.
It's Nurse Nikki coming in to.
Just gonna get my blood
Mhm.
sugar. Megan's gonna do